with what we witnessed throughout this investigation, the defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children. Again, I have never witnessed anything this horrific in my entire career.
Denja Moore, a 30-year-old mother, called Daytona Beach, Florida, her home along with her 3 beloved children, Dakota, aged 5, Dove, aged 4, and the 10-month-old infant, Messiah. Moore, a dedicated single mother, approached her daily life with unwavering devotion to providing for her children. Her social media presence was a testament to the love and affection she showered on her kids. Her second passion was hairstyling, and she excelled as a remarkable braider while supporting her family through her hairstylist career. Her talents and skills were on full display on social media, where she also promoted her services. Beyond her work, Moore cherished moments with friends and family, relishing in social gatherings and creating cherished memories. Described by her family as caring, loving, and a true sweetheart, she radiated joy and embraced the holiday spirit. Little did they know, this holiday season would mark their last with Moore. Welcome to the American Crime, Femicide channel. Please like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. Denja shared her 2 eldest children with 34-year-old Charles Ivy. Though their relationship initially blossomed, leading to the birth of 2 children, it had soured in recent years. Despite their separation a couple of years prior, their shared responsibility for the kids kept them connected, leading to ongoing disputes over parenting and support. Past incidents of alleged child abuse involving Charles and police intervention had added to the strain, but nothing substantial had resulted from those encounters. Regrettably, the lingering bitterness and conflicts in their relationship would soon turn tragic. In the past year, Denja had welcomed another child by a different partner, and the extent of his involvement in their son Messiah's life remained a mystery. Regardless, Moore and her family provided the love and care needed for the child. Everything changed on November 21st. On that fateful November night, Charles visited Moore's residence. The events leading to his horrifying actions remain unknown, but the details of that night are nothing short of gruesome and inhumane. Ivy subjected Moore to a staggering 100 stab wounds before setting their home ablaze with all 3 children inside. He callously locked his own offsprings within the burning house, briefly lingered outside, and then departed. Neighbors rushed to rescue the children, finding Dakota and Dove barely clinging to life. They were promptly rushed to the hospital, where they remained in critical condition. Tragically, Denja Moore lost her life at the scene. Baby Messiah was also rushed to the hospital but, sadly, succumbed to his injuries shortly thereafter.
And a tragic story developing in Daytona Beach right now. A mother and her newborn are dead, and now the search is on for their killer. Police say that the mother was stabbed to death last night inside her apartment here, which they said was then set on fire. They say her 1-month-old went into cardiac arrest, later died at the hospital. There were 2 other children, just 5 and 6 years old, who were there as well. We're told they are recovering.
Good. Yep. All right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jakari Young, Chief of Police. We responded here just shy of midnight in reference to a structure fire. Unfortunately, once on scene, it didn't take us long to realize that the apartment was occupied. It was occupied by a mother and her 3 children. I'm saddened to report that the mother is deceased. With regards to the 3 children, their ages are a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 5-year-old. The 1-year-old was transported to Halifax, but is also deceased. The 4 and the 5-year-old are over at Shands Hospital receiving treatment, but they are still alive, but in critical condition, obviously. We are in the very infancy stages of the investigation, so I don't have much detail, and the next of kin has yet to be notified regarding the mother here. So I can't give you any specifics as far as names. Obviously, again, we're in the infancy stages of the investigation, and as we get more information throughout the day, we will circle back and give you guys an update. But yes, this is a horrific incident. We are literally 2 days out from a holiday that centers around family, and this is what we're here dealing with this morning.
Chief,
So,
can you tell us about, you said 1-year-old, is it a 1-month-old or a 1-year-old? Because we were told 1-month-old by the fire department.
I was told a 1-year-old, but I will get clarification on that. And if I get clarification, that'll be in the next update.
And this is a suspicious fire?
Yes.
It's being investigated as a homicide, not
Yes.
a murder.
Yes.
Anything
So-
you can say about a suspect or anything?
So I can tell you that, after the medical examiner arrived on scene and we were able to actually move the body, that she was stabbed multiple times.
And the baby, anything you say about the baby was in a crib at the time?
Yes.
Had the baby suffered any physical injuries, or is that death believed to be from the fire?
I don't know that. I don't have that answer.
This is a very, very emotional story.
It is.
And your folks right here covering this. As
Yes.
well as the fire.
And I'm very proud of all the officers that initially responded to the scene, as well as all fire and medical personnel, just their bravery to be able to go in and, do their best to save lives, because if it were not for their actions, there probably would have been more lives lost. But as I stated, I'll give you guys an update later on, or maybe press release as we get more information.
Is there
Thank
any
you.
sort of suspect information?
I can't release anything further at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So yesterday I shared with you the preliminary details in reference to the structure fire that developed into the double murder of a 30-year-old mother and her 10-month-old child, and the attempted murder of 2 of her other children, ages 4 and 5. So this morning, I'm going to share with you more of the details surrounding this tragedy, as this is the most horrendous and horrific crime that I've experienced throughout my entire career. I want to start with my victims. So first and foremost, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family of the victims. My victim is a Denasia Moore, 30-year-old mother who was found deceased inside of that apartment, who suffered numerous stab wounds. Also, her 10-month-old son, who was transported to Halifax Hospital, who also later passed away as a result of his injuries. And then the 5-year-old and the 4-year-old were transported over to Shands Hospital in Gainesville, where they remain at this time. And I believe they're still intubated at this time. My defendant in this is a Charles Leon Ivy. Here's his mugshot. He is 34 years old, and he is the father of at least 2 of those children. We know for a fact he's the father of the 4-year-old and the 5-year-old. So this is most definitely domestic in nature. The defendant has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, first-degree arson. His criminal history is fairly minimal. Prior to this incident, he had some traffic violations, some possession of marijuana. There was a domestic incident back in 2016 on one of his former girlfriends, and in 2020, he was named as a suspect in a child abuse case involving one of the children. But that incident occurred outside of my jurisdiction, and I believe that case was no-filed. But with what we witnessed throughout this investigation, the defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children. Again, I have never witnessed anything this horrific in my entire career. So, the defendant did not confess to what he did, but what he did was he placed himself on scene. He put himself on scene around the time that these murders would have occurred. Through technology, we were able to track his vehicle via traffic cameras leaving the area after this incident would have occurred. And he was also in possession, admittedly, of the victim's cell phone. So we're still doing some legwork as far as the investigation goes, but the evidence is clear. The evidence speaks for itself regarding this defendant. I can't thank my investigators enough. Well, first I want to start with the responding officers. These brave officers, as well as the firefighters, if it were not for their actions, it's possible that the 4 and the 5-year-old would have also passed away. But their swift action saved the lives of the 4 and the 5-year-old because they didn't hesitate. They came on scene, they made entry, and they assisted in getting those children out. So I'm grateful to both my responding officers, as well as the firefighters and all the medical staff that responded to that scene. I'm also grateful for my investigators, because these investigators did not stop working on this from the time they responded to the scene. I know that's their job, but most people are out getting ready for the Thanksgiving holiday. They didn't get that opportunity because they were running down leads in reference to this investigation. My team is the best in the business. I firmly believe that. These investigators are top-notch and second to none. And I'm very proud to be their police chief. I also want to thank the state attorney's office, because without them, we would not have been able to get the arrest warrants. So yeah, I'm sure there are going to be questions in reference to some of the evidence, but I'm telling you now, the evidence speaks for itself. And it was so much so that they were very comfortable giving us multiple search warrants and arrest warrants for the defendant. So I'm also grateful to the state attorney's office, and then I'm grateful to the Ormond Beach Police Department, because in the follow-up, this spilled over into their jurisdiction. So we had to do a lot up in Ormond Beach, and they were great hosts to us, and they also did a lot to assist in the investigation. So I'm very, very grateful to them as well. At this time, I'm going to take just a few questions.
I know he didn't say that he did it, but do you know anything about a motive at this point?
I can only tell you that it's domestic in nature, and we're hoping that as the investigators continue to close up some loose ends, that we can get more of a clear motive, but right now the motive is not clear. It's still not clear. We may never get a clear motive to this, but again, this is the most heinous and horrific that I have seen.
Chief, you mentioned the mother getting stabbed and the children getting injured, but were they also stabbed by the man?
The 4 and the 5-year-old suffered no stab wounds. Only the mother.
Okay, so basically their injuries were either smoking and
Yes, their injuries were as a result of being left to die in a fully engulfed fire.
Where was the guy caught?
He was caught at his residence, leaving his residence. There was a traffic stop that was conducted, and he was caught. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I also wanted to thank the criminal apprehension team, because they were instrumental in the takedown of the defendant.
You mentioned Ormond Beach. Was that where he was caught?
Yes, that he resides in Ormond Beach, and he was caught leaving his residence. That's where the traffic stop was conducted.
The woman that was with them driving the car he was in, is she going to be charged with anything?
Nope,
she was third party maybe?
Yeah, she doesn't face any charges at this time. She cooperated with our investigation, and she's currently not facing any charges.
And just to clarify, so the 4 and the 5-year-old didn't have any stab wounds, the mom did. What about the 10-year-old?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Chief, do the victims have any other family locally?
They do have family. I'm not sure if they're local.
How are they reacting?
Say it one more time. The victims,
The family of the victims.
they're obviously very distraught. They're very upset.
Chief, I know you said that the suspect was the father of the 4 and 5-year-old. Did he have custody of those 2 children as well, or did she have...
I believe the mother had custody of the children.
Was this completely premeditated? Did he go there with a gas can? Was this all
return from there? You know?
That part is still unclear, but like I said, the investigation is ongoing.
Charles Ivy stands accused of 2 counts of premeditated first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, and 1 count of first-degree arson, with the possibility of facing the death penalty if convicted. Following Moore's untimely demise, her grieving family has emerged to share their profound sorrow and anguish, having lost 2 beloved family members and with 2 other children still in critical condition.
Everybody is still shocked and in disbelief. We was just on the phone, like talking about preparing for the tomorrow.
Denja Moore's cousins, Tanisha and Princess, say they all grew up like sisters. They describe Moore as kind, with a great sense of humor, and someone who would do anything for her kids.
Nice, caring.
Police say Moore was killed by the father of 2 of her children, Charles Ivy. Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young not holding back after describing the horrific details, alleging Ivy stabbed her to death, then set her apartment on fire. Her 3 kids were inside, her 10-month-old did not make it, and a 4- and 5-year-old are in the hospital.
The defendant in this incident deserves a special place in the gates of hell for what he did to this mother and these children.
Denja Moore's cousins say they didn't know Ivy at all, just that she dropped the kids off with him on weekends. They're relieved that he's in jail and are thanking all the first responders who helped.
This is the mother of your kids. You're the reason she's down here. It's just, just crazy. You can't even describe, how we felt when we heard the details of, what happened.
The funeral for Denja and Messiah has been scheduled for December 16th. As the family grapples with the unimaginable tragedy that has befallen them, let us extend our thoughts and prayers to them and to the surviving children, Dakota and Duff. Rest in peace, baby Messiah and Denja Moore.